if I'm part of an enterprise, the thing that I definitely need to do in order to solve my tooling or infrastructure or platform problems is get senior buy-in, right? I need to get people who have the authority or decision-making power to bring those things into my stack on board. And the problem very often is, well, it looks new. It looks like new spend. It looks like a new initiative. Why do we need to shift our attention from, hey, this is new, to actually, this is something that you're already trying to do, and there's probably already an initiative or budget associated with that?
Yeah. So, one of the things I love about working in this space is there's a lot of passion more often than not. The teams we're working with see the opportunity for improvement. Like ourselves, they've been in digital production for a long time and know that it can feel a lot better and be modernized. And yet they deal with the tension of how do we get our organizations to, see what we see. And to your point, when it's a new priority, like, listen, especially in today's weird market and economy and world of layoffs and reduced budgets, and no one's reducing their roadmap, right? And so there's a lot to get done, but it's harder than ever to bring in something new, right? And so what we coach a lot of teams on is, hey, all the things you just told me about why your organization needs a design system in general, it needs a better foundation for your design system. You could say the exact same things about how you're going to help the CTO accelerate their new priority. We talked about the super app a couple of weeks ago, right? You got a CTO comes in and says, this is an imperative for how we improve on the UX and technology side of our business. Go sell it as that, your foundational architecture for how I help de-risk and accelerate your priority initiative. You're changing the label, right? We're talking about all the same stuff.
Right.
Or you go on a more acute level. We talk to a lot of teams that are saying, I've got my design system, I've spent my time planning it out, and now I'm waving it at the product manager saying, hey, we got to prioritize this. Good luck, right? They got more stuff on their plate than they can handle. Whereas I've seen teams with almost no resources come into product teams and say, hey, what are your priorities? Hey, you're going to build this thing. You're going to need these pieces. We know, even if that's not on the top 5 things we want to build in our system, there's value and common need, shared need of those. We know those would be valuable for a business. We're going to help you implement that, and we're going to capture it, and like that, we're going to create the snowball effect of our design system. So instead of saying this is a new priority, you're aligning it to support an exec level priority. You're aligning whatever resources you do have to accelerate a stated priority. You're going to get a win. You're going to build some camaraderie and some appreciation, right? And you're going to have some progress, as opposed to spending time in a cave saying, hey, we inventoried and built our first 5 components. Why won't anyone listen to us? Right. That's not a good way to roll things out and get engagement.
I had a great conversation with Greg Petrov over at Cisco. He's the CDO over at the secure product section, and they have talked about this move away from outputs to outcomes, and that's how they're getting buy-in, right? So they can go to the head of engineering, they can go to the head of the product, and they can say, look, we're all wanting the same thing. We're all walking and moving towards the same outcomes. Let's not look at just the PRDs, not just look at the list of things we have to make, but rather refocus our attention on those outcomes. And that informs the conversation in a way that allows them to work backwards from that and say, well, what's the best tooling for that? What's the best roadmap for that outcome, versus these silos of making things in their particular forms, in their particular groups, that don't necessarily have outcome connections.
Well, and now we're talking about just getting things done in business and not even design systems, right? I coach anyone that comes to me with, how do I get this thing done? How do I make my priority someone else's priority? It's, what is your boss's OKR? What do they care about? Right? What is the thing that if you go up a level or two, everyone will know that is a priority, right? Everyone knows that's a thing that matters to the business. If you can connect from the lowest level, I don't care if it's because you like a certain feature and you think it's going to make your life better. If you can start to create that connection through a couple of steps to, this is what my boss cares about because it's what their boss cares about. Let me tell you, whether it's like you don't know where to get budget, like the budget becomes available when the CTO cares about it and knows it's going to, right? Like, so there's a lot of, that's always a great thought exercise to go through. If you're in business and you want to get something done, what does your boss's boss care about, and start to close the gap.
Definitely, yeah.